Two schools in Birmingham are to lose their funding after damning Ofsted reports published yesterday put them into special measures. Another two have been told their funding agreements could also be terminated if they don't act on Ofsted's findings without delay.
Meanwhile, the Education Secretary's demand that British values be put at the heart of education has sparked a debate about exactly what he means. Callum Watkinson reports.
After Ofsted put 5 schools in Birmingham in special measures yesterday, the Education Secretary called for British values to be put at the heart of British schooling.
And we will put the promotion of British values
at a European summit in Sweden today. The Prime Minister explained what he thinks those values are.
Freedom, tolerance, respect for the rule of law, belief in personal and social responsibility, and respect for British institutions. Those are the sorts of things that I would hope would be inculcated into the curriculum in any school in Britain.
At Old No Academy, downgraded yesterday from outstanding to inadequate, the parents feel the school already teaches those values and that the Education Secretary does not practice what he preaches.
If we're talking about being hard-working, if we're talking about telling the truth, helping other people out, regardless of race, religion and culture, this is what this school has been actively promoting.
Values, we're talking about integrity, decency. Fortunately, we've not seen that from Gove or from Wiltshire or Ofsted. Or maybe they need a lesson to themselves about what British values are before they come preaching to others.
Old No received a letter today from Lord Nash, the schools minister. It's been told to take immediate action on the Ofsted report or lose its funding. No such second chances for Parkview, the school at the centre of the row, which got a letter too. Summarising Ofsted's findings, Lord Nash said they were of grave concern. This letter, he said, is notice of the Secretary of State's intention to terminate the supplemental funding of the Academy. As the students here get used to a life under special measures, the governors will be worrying about how to pay the bills. Trying to run an academy without a funding agreement is like trying to run a business without any cash or credit. It simply isn't possible.
It means it's over. If you haven't got your funding, you cannot run your school. You cannot pay staff wages, you cannot pay the heating bills, you cannot buy the equipment students need in order to learn. It is over.
The trust that runs Parkview has said it will challenge Ofsted through legal channels, but its primary school, Nansen, has also lost its funding. How long will this defiance last once the cash dries up? Callum Watkinson, ITV News, Birmingham.
Well, the fallout of the Trojan Horse affair is still dominating events at Westminster. There are arguments about the rights and wrongs of snap inspections.
There's also continuing disagreement about the future governance of schools. For the latest, let's cross live now to our political correspondent, Alison Mackenzie. Alison, are we any clearer on a way forward?
Well, it depends who you think should be in charge of finding a way forward. Parents, governors, teachers, or do you believe that the buck stops here at the Department for Education? Well, one man who does is the Shadow Education Secretary, Tristram Hunt, the Stoke MP, who's revealed more details of a letter he says was sent to the department back in 2010 that wasn't acted upon.
What we've learned today is that in December 2010, Tim Boys, the respected Birmingham head teacher, told a government minister, Jonathan Hill, of his concerns about radicalism and potential extremism in Birmingham schools. At that meeting were senior advisors to the Education Secretary, Michael Gove, and yet for 4 years ministers have failed to act. So we need to know what they knew when and why they didn't act upon it.
So Central Tonight asked Mr Gove's office that question. His reply to me: "I was not at that meeting, nor was I informed of the contents." He says an investigation is now underway. On snap inspections by Ofsted, he's all in favour, the National Union of Teachers against.
If we actually had a system where there was local oversight within, for example, within Birmingham, where they had proper responsibility for making sure that schools were all working well together, then we wouldn't probably be in the position where there is this fragmented system and some schools are looked at and some schools aren't. This is a very political use of Ofsted. The National Union of Teachers believes that schools and teachers must be accountable, but it has to be on a proper, respectful and professional basis, and that isn't the context in which we're talking about Birmingham.
So, Alison, do you think these rows are going to stop and we can see some progress?
Well, it has to be said the spats, the arguments here are being patched up. Some would describe them as healthy debate. Some critics say the Department for Education should be put in special measures. Doesn't work quite like that. But as to the future, let's listen to these words from the Labour MP for Birmingham, and that is Liam Byrne.
There are people on all sides who have got lessons to learn, and what we need to do is lay those things out calmly, because you know what? The most important people in this debate are our children, and right now it's their interests that are getting marginalised.
Well, next month, another report to digest. This will be the findings of Peter Clark, the former counter-terrorism chief, sent in, so this saga isn't over yet.
Thanks very much for that report. Some sports news now.